Genesis 49. You know, we're really getting close to the end here, but too many people are still alive. That's gotta stop soon. So here is Jacob on his literal deathbed, stirring the pot a little more before he goes away. Then Jacob called for his sons and said, "Gather round so I can tell you what will happen to you in days to come. Assemble and listen, sons of Jacob. Listen to your father Israel." Whatever, I can play this game. You're gonna plan a funeral. You're gonna fight over the inheritance. You're gonna eat a ton because there's a famine and you're the only ones with food. Why does he call them sons of Jacob? They're his sons. They know who he is. The word sons kind of gives it away. Did he just refer to himself as Jacob and Israel? That's like talking about yourself in the sixth person. Reuben, you are my firstborn, my might, the first sign of my strength, excelling in honor, excelling in power. Turbulent as the waters, you will no longer excel, for you went up onto your father's bed, onto my couch, and defiled it. Holy crap. Jacob is cursing his children. I thought he was blessing them. Reuben, you're my oldest son, the strongest, the most honorable. But you stuck it in my concubine, so you get nothing. He is calling out Reuben's actions from Genesis 35. That's like bringing up the creepy guy your wife dated in high school on your 50th wedding anniversary. The time has passed. You said nothing when it mattered. Let it go. But apparently the deal is done here. Reuben screwed, so now he's screwed. This is fun. I am so here for angry old man screaming at his kids. Let's keep going. Simeon and Levi are brothers. Their swords are weapons of violence. Let me not enter their council. Let me not join their assembly, for they have killed men in their anger and hamstrung oxen as they pleased. Cursed be their anger, so fierce, and their fury so cruel. I will scatter them in Jacob and disperse them in Israel. You know, these guys tricked men into circumcising themselves before murdering them all. They don't deserve a blessing. Why is Jacob reminding them they're brothers? We know. That's kind of the point of this whole chapter. And what's with that weird last line? I'll scatter them in Jacob and disperse them in Israel. That's just one phrase that got thrown into a synonym machine and got spit back out. I know we're almost done with Genesis, but we don't have to be sloppy about it. Next up, a son he actually loves. And boy does he show it. Judah, your brothers will praise you. Your hand will be on the neck of your enemies. Your father's sons will bow down to you. You are a lion's cub, Judah. You return from the prey, my son. Like a lion he crouches and lies down like a lioness. Who dares to rouse him? The scepter will not depart from Judah, nor the ruler's staff from between his feet, until he to whom it belongs shall come, and the obedience of the nations shall be his. He will tether his donkey to a vine, his colt to the choicest branch. He will wash his garments in wine, his robes in the blood of grapes. His eyes will be darker than wine, his teeth whiter than milk. Worst romance novel ever. Is Jacob blessing his son or trying to seduce him? What a roller coaster right there. Your brothers will bow down to you. You will murder your enemies. The animals you own will have the finest leashes. You will also murder grapes. What? And who wants to wash their garments in wine? You wash your clothes to get the wine stains off. That's a horrible prophecy. Also, your teeth should not be whiter than milk. That's not healthy. That's just a weird Instagram filter. But remember, Judah is the guy who stopped his brothers from killing Joseph by suggesting they sell him to strangers. He also offered to take Benjamin's place as a slave. So maybe he deserves a somewhat nice future? Zebulun will live by the seashore and become a haven for ships. His border will extend towards Sidon. Wait, that's it? Judah got a friggin' novel full of flowery prose, and Zebulun gets to sleep in a hut on the beach? That's embarrassing. Issachar is a raw-boned donkey lying down among the sheep pens. When he sees how good is his resting place and how pleasant is his land, he will bend his shoulder to the burden and submit to forced labor. Raw-boned donkey. How long do you think it took Issachar to figure out if that was a good thing or a bad thing? I'm guessing submitting to forced labor is not the outcome he was hoping for, though. Sucks for him. Dan will provide justice for his people as one of the tribes of Israel. Dan will be a snake by the roadside, a viper along the path that bites the horse's heels so that its rider tumbles backward. I look for your deliverance, Lord. So he's a leader, but he's a snake. But he's a powerful snake who hurts people. Is that good? I just want Jezreel to tell me who's getting cash and who's left out of the will. Gad will be attacked by a band of raiders, but he will attack them at their heels. Oh, I mean, if you know that, why not give him a date so he can be prepared? Asher's food will be rich. He will provide delicacies fit for a king. Okay, so he's a cook. Not bad. Naphtali is a doe set free that bears beautiful fawns. Okay, so he's a father? Maybe? Unless this is a metaphor, in which case I'm lost. Let's just get to Joseph. Joseph is a fruitful vine near a spring whose branches climb over a wall. With bitterness, archers attacked him. They shot at him with hostility. But his bow remained steady, his strong arm stayed limber because of the hand of the mighty one of Jacob, because of the shepherd, the rock of Israel, because of your father's God who helps you, because of the Almighty who blesses you with blessings of the skies above, blessings of the deep springs below, blessings of the breast and womb. Your father's blessings are greater than the blessings of the ancient mountains, than the bounty of the age-old hills. Let all these rest on the head of Joseph, on the brow of the prince among his brothers. Okay, biblical William Faulkner, I have no clue what any of that means. I'm pretty sure Jacob may have already died because this is just gibberish now. But there's one last brother. Benjamin is a ravenous wolf. In the morning he devours the prey. In the evening he divides the plunder. Congratulations, Benjamin? ? You're a hunter and a provider, and you will never get a day off for the rest of your life. All these are the 12 tribes of Israel, and this is what their father said to them when he blessed them, giving each the blessing appropriate to him. That is one weird-ass will. Those are 12 tribes, but they are not created equal. By the way, this list of 12 tribes comes up again many times in the Bible, but it's not always these 12. Sometimes it's not even 12. So the phrase 12 tribes should really come with an asterisk. Also, Jacob had a daughter, Dinah. She doesn't even get a mention here. Okay, enough of Uncle Jizzy's cryptic riddles. Let's just be done with him now. Then he gave them these instructions. I am about to be gathered to my people. Bury me with my fathers in the cave in the field of Ephron the Hittite, the cave in the field of Machpelah, near Mamre in Canaan, which Abraham bought along with the field as a burial place from Ephron the Hittite. There, Abraham and his wife Sarah were buried. There, Isaac and his wife Rebekah were buried, and there I buried Leah. The field and the cave in it were bought from the Hittites. Right. Bury me in the family grave. Could have just said that. Don't worry, it's already reserved for you. When Jacob had finished giving instructions to his sons, he drew his feet up into the bed, breathed his last, and was gathered to his people. Well, he timed that just perfectly. How amusing would it have been, though, if he took his last breath right before giving his blessings to the last son? So, it took long enough, but Jacob is finally dead. We met him in Genesis 25. We went through his sibling rivalry, tricking his father into blessing him, a dream about a ladder, a very long engagement period that involved hard labor, a bizarre science experiment that's not really science, his baby-making challenge with 2 wives and their 2 slaves, a wrestling match with God, the loss of his son at the hands of his other sons, the discovery of that same son during a famine, and a deathbed monologue that is probably still going on. What the hell is left to do in Genesis 50? We are almost done with the first, 1% of the Bible.